Hello and welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you've been here before. My name's Kitty and I'm here to give you the tools you need to become a consistent, efficient, conscious manifestor. In this video, we are going to talk about third parties and specifically how not to get rid of them. Now, usually when we talk about third parties, people mean a third party in a relationship, someone who is dating the person that you want to date. But they can be anyone. They can be someone who has the job you want, someone who has the house or apartment in the location that you want. It can be any person that you perceive as standing between you and getting what you want. So what do we do about these third parties? What we don't do is try to manipulate the 3D in order to get rid of them. And the other thing we don't do is try to get rid of them by sending hatred their way. And I know what you're thinking. We don't want to hate them because we want to be beings of good consciousness and we want to have high vibrations and be full of love and light and rainbows and sunshine. And yes, that is part of it. But that's not why we don't want to hate them. We do not hate them because they, as well as everything else in our 3D reality, is a reflection of what's going on in here. Whatever is happening in here is reflected out here. So if you're full of anger and hatred and all of that sort of stuff in here, it's gonna come back. Their rubber, your glue, whatever you do bounces off them and sticks to you, as the ancient saying goes. So it can be really hard not to hate them because they are there, having the things you want and getting in the way of you getting the things that you want. So what are we supposed to do? Love them and instead? Embrace them, welcome them into our lives? No, we're not doing that either. We are ignoring the absolute fact that they exist. They do not exist. I'm going to explain it like this. And I've heard this said in relation to riding motorcycles, but I think it probably applies to vehicles in general. You are going to steer where your eyes are pointed. So when you're riding a motorcycle, you want to look ahead on the road to where you intend to go. Because once you start looking over here, and oh, that wall is really close, I should keep an eye on that, you start steering that way, and you end up in the wall. And you don't want that. So the same principle applies in manifesting. You want to look over here where you're trying to go. And you don't want to look over here at the obstacle, because once you start paying attention to that, you're going to naturally start steering towards it, and you're going to end up, and that third party is going to be there, and they're going to get stronger, and all of that, and we don't want that. So we're looking over here. Anytime that there's a third party in your way, it's because you have background programs going on, running in the background of your mind, telling you that you can't have what you want because of certain reasons. If it's a third party in a romantic relationship, you might be feeling that you're not pretty enough, you're not smart enough, you're not successful enough to have the person that you want, you're not their equal somehow. If somebody just got the apartment you wanted, you might feel that you're not successful enough, you're not making enough money, the neighborhood isn't good enough for you for some reason. There's all sorts of background programs that can be going on in your head. And all they are doing is reflecting back to you what you believe about yourself. The third party is just a reflection showing you why you feel you can't have the things that you want. So if you're feeling awful about the third party, you're feeling awful about yourself. And usually the worse you feel about yourself, the worse that third party is going to show up. So even if the third party comes up to you and looks in your eyes and says to your face, I took your man because you weren't pretty enough to keep him. He loves me and I satisfy him every night the way you couldn't. That isn't them feeling that way about you, that's you feeling that way about you. And that's where you need to start digging into your background programs and finding out what's going on in there. Because everything that's going on in there, whether you're conscious of it or not, is creating everything around you. Once you realize that you have background programs going on in your mind that is affecting your manifestation, what do you do about it? Well, as luck would have it, I have made a video about that exact thing, and I'm going to attempt to link it here, but if not, I will link it in the description below, and I highly encourage you to check out that video and start digging down into what's going on in your mind, because the more you clear out those background programs that do not serve you, the easier and quicker your manifestations will become. And that is, of course, what we all want. We want our manifestations fast. We want our manifestations easy. And this is how you get to the point where that is possible for you. I hope you've learned a little bit about why sending anger and hatred toward your third party is not going to get rid of them and is in fact going to do the exact opposite. If you have any questions or you'd like me to go into anything in more detail, please leave a comment below and I'll make sure to address it in a future video. If you enjoyed today's video, I'd be very grateful if you could give it a quick like so that I know that I'm on the right path. And if you enjoy the content that you see here today, do subscribe so that you'll get notified of future videos. I'm very grateful to be a part of your manifestation journey, and remember, whatever it is that you want to manifest, it's all in your mind.